Alex, you're exactly right. Look, I think I've been very consistent. For over a year, I have said that I believe that the Mueller team, since its inception, has already been in my emails, seen my text messages, monitored my phone calls. How? Through this illegal FISA warrant. Now, they won't want to admit that in court. So, as in the case of Paul Manafort, they have to go get it from some third party. They can't say, we got Roger Stone's emails between he and Alex Jones. They have to say they got it from someone else. That's the parallel construction that you speak of. The IG's report, I think, is the big enchilada. I think it comes within the next 10 days. There will be criminal indictments for people working on the Mueller team arising from this report. There will be criminal indictments from people working at the Justice Department. There will be criminal indictments of those in our intelligence agencies, which have become political, have been politicized. Now, one guy who I think is in bigger trouble than anyone else, the psychopath John Brennan. The noose is tightening on him. This whole codger is going to prison for the rest of his life. They're busted. This is a two-part prong. There's the surveillance, and then there's the spying. When we come back, we're going to break it down.
Is Trump going to move against these people? Ron Rosenstein is a completely rogue, out-of-control criminal. They've caught the entire operation's been caught from pillar to post, manufacturing everything, and now they're moving steadily ahead with Mueller, closing in, this is in the Associated Press, on Roger Stone and the president, and in the middle of it, now suddenly questions of all 8 people grabbed this week. Questions about Alex Jones. We're going to break in 3 minutes, but where should we start in this historic narrative? Because again, I've been saying Russiagate's a diversion until they make their move. Now they're making their move right now. Roger Stone.
Well, Alex, I think it's very, very clear. They need to silence Roger Stone. They need to silence Alex Jones. We are a beacon of truth, and from the beginning, we have exposed the corruption of Rod Rosenstein, the corruption of Jeff Sessions, the corruption of the Mueller probe. We've highlighted Mr. Mueller's role in the anthrax scandal, in the 9/11 scandal, in the Whitey Bulger scandal. We've called for the resignation, the firing of Mr. Rosenstein. We have outlined in great detail the involvement of Robert Mueller, James Comey, Rod Rosenstein, and Andrew McCabe in Uranium One, the largest multi-billion-dollar treasonous crime in American history. The MSNBC headline is misleading. I didn't say I was prepared to be indicted, but I did say that I understand the awesome power of a federal prosecutor to conjure up offenses when they can find no Russian collusion, no trafficking of documents with WikiLeaks, and no connection to the disclosure of John Podesta's pathetic emails. So the deep state grows restless. Jones, Stone, we've got to shut them up. We've got to get them to stop broadcasting the truth right there at Infowars.com. That is what this is all about.
Well, I want to walk through what has not been reported yet. And I love how when you report on what the FBI does to you, the media ignores it when it's here till they report it 5 days later. It's always the same formula. But even alternative media ignores it, which is fine. But it's just insane that they do this. But just like you exposed last Sunday, we knew it, of course, months before. You wrote about it in your book years ago about the Bush crime family that came out several years ago. But you told me months ago it was Cambridge professor, Anglophile Stefan Halper, a U.S. citizen. And now, the New York Times broke it on Friday, Roger.
It's amazing, Alex. The New York Times is now trying to spin this. The FBI infiltrated the Trump campaign because they were looking for evidence of Russian collusion. How stupid do they think the American people are? The FBI infiltrated the Trump campaign to plant claims of Russian collusion.
So it was in the New York Post, the Associated Press, McClatchy, in April of last year that the FBI, at the behest of Democrats, had opened a criminal investigation of InfoWars for us being funded, not just bots, which is made up, but colluding with the Russians. And a year and a half later, all they could find, or a year and 3 months later, is, oh, we uploaded something to our Facebook page from Switzerland. Yeah, we have a reporter, Dan Lyman, there. He's an American. He's married to a European woman. Switzerland's really nice. We're setting up reporters in Europe, so we're 24 hours a day. We're a news organization, just like you. But at a sick level, I feel good that these globalist criminals are lying about me and the FBI is obsessing on me and Roger Stone. Knowing we're patriots and knowing there's nothing there, you still have a little nagging feeling like, well, I'm sure Stone and Trump are good, but who knows, there could be something. But then when they go after you and you know there's no collusion and you know it's the Obamas and the Clintons and Mueller who are in bed with them, it just shows you what sick freaks they are, and you know at the end of the day they're going to fall. Now, Roger, I want you to lay this out. You're going to host the next hour and really go through it all piece by piece. But this is the historic move. You've been dead on so far. They're making their move. Tell folks what happened this week, some of the 8 people that got scooped up, what you've learned from them, what you've learned from your lawyers as they try to go in and threaten people to then, I guess, basically flip against you and make something up. Again, not a Russia connection, but a process, a taxes that didn't get paid, a crooked toenail. Maybe you didn't brush your teeth once. I mean, we know the program.
Well, Alex, obviously there are some limits in what I can discuss, but let me be as candid here as I possibly can. The Mueller inquiry has come up empty-handed on the question of Russian collusion. In my case, they can foster no connection between me and the Russians. They've come up empty-handed on the idea that I got allegedly hacked emails from WikiLeaks or from the Russians and passed it on to Donald Trump, or that I got anything from the alleged hacking of the DNC and passed it on to Julian Assange. While we're at it, no, I didn't dine with Julian Assange. I've never met with him. I've never spoken to him. My testimony before the House Intelligence Committee was entirely candid, was complete and truthful. The congenital liar, Adam Schiff, goes on Meet the Press today and says otherwise, but it's Schiff who is the liar. And by the way, Congressman, why were you having a fundraiser sponsored by a Ukrainian arms dealer? While you're at it, could you answer that for us? So what's happened here, Alex, in the last week, at least 8 of my former or current associates, in some cases, young people whose names, no, I'm not going to list here because I don't want their names to be dragged through the mud. They know nothing. They can be of no value to the government, but they terrorize these people. You're going to a grand jury immediately unless you say Roger Stone did X. It is part and parcel of Mueller's MO.
But I mean, I've already said Caputo, so it's okay to get into what he told you. They said about me.
Yes, but I'm going to get into this right now. At least 8 people have now been asked about Alex Jones. They asked, what is Stone's relationship with Alex Jones? What does Stone do for Alex Jones? What is Alex Jones like, as if they would know? How much does Stone make at InfoWars, where I do a show for an hour a day? The War Room, 5 o'clock Eastern, with Owen Schroyer. A terrific show. If you haven't tuned in, please do. Alex, in all honesty, I would urge you to do what I have done. Have your lawyer standing by. They want to shut InfoWars up. They're trying to do it every day through their campaign of internet censorship, through their bogus lawsuits, their harassment lawsuits, and they will do anything, including scooping both of us up if necessary, to stop our relentless drumbeat in the interests of truth. Am I expecting to be indicted? I never said that. Here's what I do know. If they should make a legal move against me, it will open the door to raising the question in court of the illegal FISA warrant that the New York Times says was issued against me in 2016. Now, under the FISA law, a U.S. citizen can only have a FISA warrant levied against them if they are actively involved in espionage against the United States on behalf of a foreign power. That is not the case. In the Manafort case, the government refuses to admit in his discovery that he was the subject of surveillance. In the Russian case, the 13 Russians who Mr. Mueller never expected to show up for trial. They're now demanding discovery in terms of his surveillance of them. And he has been completely...
Well, it's like all the fake lawsuits against us. When we win them, when they get thrown out, no news coverage of it. You just won the big defamation case. They just threw out the Charlottesville. I guess they're going to re-enter it because it was literally written like a blind chimpanzee wrote it or something. I mean, it's next level how lazy they are, but still they're so confident in their activities. It's just crazy. But, I mean, do they think the public is going to buy... now as they zero in on the final few people, they even admit that in the news, that's Trump, Roger Stone, and then Alex Jones. I mean, that is completely insane that anyone would ever buy into that. This is Mueller is on tarmacs with illegal uranium transfers. Mueller is on board of Russian companies where he just gets paid cash. Hillary gets hundreds of millions to sell out our strategic stockpile of uranium. I mean, that's treason. And then they point at you, a famous anti-communist, protege of Richard Nixon, who was a protege of Eisenhower. In the 80s, you helped round up a Russian spy network for the FBI in D.C. This is like claiming George Washington's a redcoat. Saying that I am anti-American and that I'm a freaking traitor is ridiculous. It is so, it's beyond resentment. The fact that Mueller and Obama and Hillary and all of them are so arrogant, Roger, that they think that is going to fly, that dog is going to hunt. That is an insult to the intelligence of the American people. Sorry, go ahead.
And in every case, Alex, the 8 people who were interviewed by the FBI wanted to know if they had copies of correspondence between Alex Jones and Roger Stone. I mean, this is Kafkaesque. This is not America. This is some weird caricature of justice. And I really believe this is all about silencing us. They don't want us to get to the heart of this question of illegal surveillance.
I was about to say, how big is it? I've got a limited team, but we're going to do this tomorrow. We gave speeches at the mall about how they were illegally surveilling Trump. We've done 100 shows or more about the surveillance. We were dead on. We got the secret NSA files. No media coverage of that. We proved it. It was all our private numbers and the president's. And now they just think we're going to forget about that as they're caught doing exactly what we said they did. That's why they want to shut us down, because we all deserve. You deserve like 50 Pulitzer Prizes. I deserve 10. Matt Drudge deserves 100. I mean, the truth is we're the real people breaking it all. That's why they're so pissed, because they don't control us.
Well, I'm very proud of the fact that it was InfoWars kind of concurrently with the Daily Caller and the great reporting of Chuck Ross there that exposed the FBI spy who was infiltrated inside the Trump campaign.
And it's not about credit, but you wrote about him a few years ago. Well, I didn't want to go with this a few months ago when you were ready, just because I don't want to get sued. The guy lives in England where they have laws where, each of the skies blue, they can sue you. But yeah, I saw that they were saying maybe he's him. I said, hey, it's him. He said, yeah, now's the time to launch the attacks that we did last Sunday. The point is we broke it.
Again, InfoWars, tomorrow's news today. I first exposed Steph Halper in my book, The Bush Crime Family, which you can get, by the way, at the Infowars.com store right now. But it is all out there to see. You're exactly right. He is the same Bush operative who stole the Jimmy Carter briefing book and delivered it to vice presidential candidate George Bush. In fact, George Bush was running that operation. He is a longtime CIA operative, and he is busted thanks to the fearless reporting here at InfoWars. We had it first. I also give credit to Chuck Ross. We essentially broke the story at pretty much the same time. Ross admits that he first learned who Halper was by reading my book, The Bush Crime Family.
Sure. And Daily Caller's awesome. Tucker Carlson that owns it's awesome. We're not trying to get credit. We're just sick of how we break literally half the big stories when it comes to this, and then we get no credit. And they go, "Oh, you're fake news. You're fake news. You're fake news." It's absolute crud.
And it's a knee slapper, the spin they've come up with. Oh, the FBI infiltrated Trump's campaign so they could look for Russian collusion. No, they infiltrated the Trump campaign so they could plant evidence of faux Russian collusion.
Making their move against the American voter, against the First Amendment, against Trump, against InfoWars, against everybody. And they get us, they will get you all. So, Roger, you were making a great point, though. Via their illegal FISA court garbage, and which the FISA courts come out and said it was illegal, they were lied to issue these warrants. It's even spot on Trump, myself, hundreds of others. And now they want parallel construction, which came out in court 5 years ago with the DEA and the NSA, where when they're illegally surveilling somebody, they then want to reconstruct it for a court case. And so they then subpoena a bunch of other people they know are in the emails to cover their tracks and make it look like that they actually did the investigation fair and square. And again, there's no Russia collusion in the biggest dragnet in world history, biggest witch hunt in world history. Trump's definitely right about that. So now it's just going to be, was the taxes done right here? Was the checkbook done right? And it's not even where you go to jail for that. It's, did you write somebody a check? I don't remember. I think it was $5,000. It's $6,000. You go to prison. So you can't talk to the FBI just because if you don't say it exactly right, they'll set you up. And even if you do, in the case of the third guy they set up for the anthrax attack, it turned out he turned over all the samples and it wasn't him, and they tested him. They didn't care. They said he didn't turn them over, but it's all come out in federal court now. So they are liars. They are criminals. Mueller is there because he's one of the dirtiest people in American history. He's a traitor. He hates the country. He works for the globalists. He works for the offshore system. So when we come back from this quick break, from my parallel construction briefly here, Roger, we're going to get into how does Trump strike back, the AG report coming out, why the globalists are so scared, why they've moved their timetable up. But the 3 minutes we have before break, let's get into parallel construction and the illegal wiretaps now confirmed, bigger than Watergate, as President Trump has said.
Well, you're exactly right. Look, I think I've been very consistent. For over a year, I have said that I believe that the Mueller team, since its inception, has already been in my email, seen my text messages, monitored my phone calls. How? Through this illegal FISA warrant. Now, they won't want to admit that in court. So, as in the case of Paul Manafort, they have to go get it from some third party. They can't say, we got Roger Stone's emails between he and Alex Jones. They have to say they got it from someone else. That's the parallel construction that you speak of. The IG's report, I think, is the big enchilada. I think it comes within the next 10 days. There will be criminal indictments for people working on the Mueller team arising from this report. There will be criminal indictments from people working at the Justice Department. There will be criminal indictments of those in our intelligence agencies, which have become political, have been politicized. Now, one guy who I think is in bigger trouble than anyone else, the psychopath John Brennan. The noose is tightening on him. This whole codger's going to prison for the rest of his life. They're busted. This is a two-part prong. There's the surveillance, and then there's the spying. When we come back, we're going to break it down. In the meantime, I have to ask people to go to the InfoWars store because they are trying to shut us down. This is about silencing Alex Jones, silencing Roger Stone, so they stop attacking the deep state and this investigation and their illicit agenda. President's figured this out. This isn't about charging him with a crime. This is about removing him from office. Only with a strong, vibrant, and robust InfoWars can we continue to bring you the news about what's really going on.
If you're going to write an unfair report, write it, and we will combat it. We're ready to rip it apart, and we're ready to rip them apart if that's what they want. We would rather peacefully settle this and get it over with.
Rudy Giuliani.
Thank you.
Always great to see you. Thanks for coming out.
So Stone was just on Ingram's program as well. They hate her because she's a patriot and fearless. Really, some heroes have emerged. Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, you're a good friend. And then, of course, Ingram. And that's who the left and Soros want off air. And everybody better understand this. The Wall Street Journal even reported, if they can take out InfoWars, they said this, I couldn't believe it, they will then shut everybody else down. This is the plan. So we're here hitting the barbed wire, exposing all this first, making it safe for others to cover it later. That's what we do. We're like the pebble in the pond. And so, Roger, you're taking over the next 3 segments for 45 minutes, but you have been on fire during the breaks and on air. And you don't just say things hoping they come true. You say the word is Trump's taking the gloves off. They've already reverse engineered all the collusion, the inside games, the fraud, the moles trying to plant Russian breadcrumbs, and that major indictments are coming. The Inspector General. Let's talk about the devastating Inspector General report. And I know you've talked to some folks that have got some intel for us on a first look. Let's give people a first look at data dump. Some of the things we were talking about, some other sources have confirmed that they're really running scared right now, which makes the deep state that's left very, very dangerous.
This is why they're so desperate to silence us, Alex. Look, they would like to gag me, but let me be very clear. Should they succeed in legally gagging me, Michael Caputo will speak on my behalf. My attorney, Tyler Nixon, will speak on my behalf. My wife, Nevia Stone, will speak on my behalf. My longtime associate, Kristen Davis, will speak on my behalf. You will not be able to kneecap the truth. We will talk about your phony FISA warrant. We will talk about your illegal surveillance. We will talk about your spy. We will be talking about your attempts to terrorize the people who work for us. We will talk about your efforts to take down Alex Jones. We will talk about your efforts to silence InfoWars. This is extraordinary. Between the use of a fabricated dossier as the underpinning legal rationale for the surveillance, the use of the authority and capability of the state to spy on the Republican candidate for president's campaign, Donald Trump, and the infiltration of the Trump campaign by the FBI to spy and plant phony evidence of Russian collusion, they are busted. I'm sorry, this makes Watergate look like a second-rate burglary. It is the greatest single political scandal in America.
I agree with you. So as the wheels came off a long time ago, but now it's exploding, and they've all been caught lying to Congress. They've all been caught paying their families off, create fake dossiers. They've all been caught lying about illegal spying. I mean, there's so much perjury, so many lies, so much arrogance by these dirtbags. You can see Trump setting the trap for them. Now, what are they going to do, though? Because, I mean, they don't have much time left. I mean, because I see even the neocon National Review turning against him. I see Fox News that was kind of halfway against Trump now waking up. I see everybody getting Trump's delivering. The economy's turning around. We're getting peace deals. Trump's for real. I mean, I see Trump is winning.
Well, a White House source told me on Friday that it appears that economic growth in the next quarter will actually hit 4%. The best that Barack Obama could ever do was 1.5%.
Oh, please, in the last segment, just cover that. I forgot to dig it. That is so huge.
Well, a White House economist who shall remain nameless was almost giddy. 4% economic growth is extraordinary. They told us that was literally...
they said 3% was impossible.
Couldn't be done, except for Donald Trump has done it. Alex, look for two things in the weeks ahead. Not only the IG report, which is going to be explosive, it is going to be political and legal dynamite. But also look for the decisions of Judge Ellis in Virginia. He's on to the deep state. He's on to Mr. Mueller. He's on to the phony surveillance and FBI infiltration and spying on the Trump campaign. And I think this historic, brave, courageous judge is going to bust this thing wide open. I spoke to Paul Manafort yesterday. He's ready to go to trial. What he exposes about the government at trial will knock your socks off. You see, they thought that he would fold. They thought they would never have to go to trial. Notice Mr. Mueller trying to now delay the trial of the 13 Russians that he indicted to get a headline. They're ready to go to trial. They want to know about their surveillance, but he doesn't want to play ball. This is why they are looking at you. This is why they are looking at me. This is why they may seek to fabricate or manufacture offenses against me. I never said I was preparing to be indicted. That is MSNBC, Ari Melber, BS. This guy, David Korn with Mother Jones. That's the problem with crap. It often has corn in it. This guy is a congenital liar, continually saying Stone had information on WikiLeaks. Stone was trafficking with the Russians. No, David, you have nothing. You're a BS artist. I just called you.
But I remember we were all trying to get him on, and then I was bummed out that he was on the New York Times and CNN before they banned him. I was like, why doesn't Assange come on? We all sent emails We all tried to have contacts, say what's in the WikiLeaks. Obviously, any reporter wants that. But the idea that we were coordinating with him when he won't even talk to us because we're the real media. Even Assange treats us like crap. That's what they don't get. They always think the establishment's what's cool, and then they spin that into that A, he's a Russian agent when there's no evidence of that. And then by extension, we're coordinating with Assange when I have attacked Assange a year and a half ago and called him Hillary Clinton's you-know-what plug because he treats us like crap and won't talk to us. It's the opposite. We're on record. Assange is all locked up because he listened to the establishment and thought he could convince them. He should have come on shows like this. But the idea that we're running around with Guccifer 2.0 because you're on a message board going, please give me intel, that's what reporters do.
Yeah, no, look, this is a joke. Our friend Jack Posobiec at One America News really pointed this out. Julian Assange went on CNN in June of 2016 and said, essentially, I've got the mother load on Hillary. So what we're guilty of, Alex, is watching CNN and believing.
Oh, I remember, because, we don't really hype stuff, but we'll go with what headlines get people to tune in to then read our accurate news. But everything WikiLeaks was the hottest thing. And then as they doled them out, we'd have people up at 3 a.m. to get them. And obviously, that was the big news. Of course, we were all over WikiLeaks. The idea that we're Russian agents because, like everybody else, we were trying to get the latest scoop. I call everybody to come on. I mean, I've tried to get Vladimir Putin on. I've tried to get Obama on. Does that mean I support Obama?
No, it means that you run a news organization. Look, Assange scheduled a press event for October 1st. The world believed that he would drop his information that day. He didn't. You criticized him bitterly about it. He dropped the bomb 4 days later, as I predicted he was, because the source, which I identified for the House Intelligence Committee, told me that he would. And he delayed only because of threats against his life. I think he's a crusading journalist.
No, I do too. But the truth is, he's dissed us. It's not like we're in bed with it. The guy, listen, you're taking over the next 3 segments. Stay right there, Roger. Roger Stone will host the next 3 segments because that's the only way I'm not going to jump in because I've got so many points. I just let him flow. It's going to be powerful. Everybody should link to it, retweet it, Facebook it, because you are in their face when you spread the links, the articles, the videos, and separately, great products, a bunch of big specials within the next 2 days. 50% off our fluoride-free colloidal silver iodine fortified toothpaste for adults and children, and the mouthwash, and the immune gargle, and the hand spray. It's all there, 50% off. That is about to end, and free shipping on that. And we've got a bunch of other big specials that are about to end at InfoWarsStore.com. Western Europe has already banned free speech, and an iron curtain of censorship is descending down over the UK. They're set to pass rules, not a law, that if you criticize Islam or gays, you'll get 6 months in prison. We know we're only about a year or two behind what's happening in the UK. CNN and many others are calling for InfoWars to be shut down, taken off the web. Slate Magazine and others saying, go beyond censorship, brainwash young people against InfoWars, psychologically inoculate them with lies so they don't actually hear what we have to say. We are the most hated news source in the world. It is so critical that you go to InfoWars.com/newsletter and sign up for the free newsletter so we can be in contact with you.
Single most dangerous person to the agenda of President Trump, the Republican Party, and ultimately to all Americans is the Attorney General of the United States himself, Jeff Sessions.
Most dangerous individual that threatens this republic, this country, and our future because of their dereliction of duty and their clear fact that they're compromised. But if you just tuned in, I have confirmed with Roger Stone and others that 8 people have been dragnetted, grabbed off airplanes, visited at their offices, subpoenaed, drug in by the FBI, in some cases talked to for 8 hours straight one day and 3 hours the next day. And the big news here is they're getting ready to indict Roger Stone. In fact, there's the NBC headlines. Roger Stone prepared for Mueller indictment. Now, continuing, ladies and gentlemen, the other big piece of the puzzle is they then keep obsessing on yours truly. And at one level, it's comical, but at the other level, it's not funny. Because I already showed you earlier the McClatchy News from April 3rd, 2017, where they say that I am under criminal investigation by the FBI. Not your regular FBI that responds to bank robberies and real money laundering and MS-13, great men and women. I know a lot of those folks are listeners. Believe me, I do. We got a lot of folks working in this building just so happen to have uncles and people that are FBI agents. And they agree with us, by the way. They like Trump. They know what's going on. But this special Obama, Clinton-created thing that's been there for decades is what's covered up for the Clintons and Obama to commit all these crimes. And it's Creepville when this starts to unfold. Yeah, there it is. Even the New York Post reported on it. I'd forgotten that one. Breitbart and InfoWars are drawn to FBI's Russian bot probe. But it goes way beyond that. And so, oh, look, Cambridge professor right next to that. The big breaking news Friday is, drum roll, who is the FBI mole criminally sent by Obama and Hillary into the Trump camp to try to talk about Russiagate and try to plant Russian connections so he could then later try to set people up. That's the info that's emerging. Who did we break last Sunday here on this show? In fact, let's go to YouTube and even pull that up from last Sunday. I think the headline is Roger Stone outs names the FBI mole. And we say Cambridge professor Stefan Halper, come on down. But now Newsweek and Time and the New York Times and they all broke it Friday. They know we're loyal Americans. They know we believe in free markets. We believe in this country. Yeah, there it is. Breaking. Roger Stone just out of the FBI mole inside the Trump campaign. Only 43,000 views. Because they've got a shadow ban where you've got to go on the page to find it. So I got to go to Infowars.com or NewsWars.com because more and more we're just blocked on the internet, folks. You got to go to our sites, not Twitter, not Facebook. If you're watching us on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, great. Spread those live links. But a lot of times the live feeds are capped. So you can't even share them when it's live. You got to share them when it's archived after the show is not live. This is a war. And why do they want us shut down? Because 7 days ago, I sat here and I told you it was Halpern, and I told you he was planting stuff. And by the way, I have the former head of the Davos group calling me up. And I'm not even name dropping here. I'm so busy with the generals and the CIA people and Roger Stone and then my own issues that I haven't even called back people who have been trying to call me for a week with the breaking intel on something even more insane. And I don't know why I haven't returned their phone calls. So I'll just want to call them right now. Call Ted Mallock. Apologize to him. I know he's been desperately trying to talk. I don't know why I didn't talk to him. I said so much hitting me. Let's just see if he'll pop on today. This is all just a firestorm of insanity, but you also catch yourself kind of pinching yourself when 8 people have been questioned and they spend a lot of their time on me and ask if I'm a Russian agent or if they know anything about Russians. And Daria doesn't want her last name or anything known. But I think at some point they're going to probably go there. They're not stupid. We need to bring out who she is beforehand. Because she's served the Army, one of the few women in the Army that served the position she did. Because I know this from people that know her separately. She never even bragged about it. And we saw her honorable discharge and the work she'd done in communications and all the rest of it, and her defense language school things and all her degrees and things. But then when I have a lot of the military people around here, they know who she is. She's one of the few women who's ever served in one of the most elite multi group organizations. Well, the only multi-group organization. So that'll really fly well for you, I'm sure. That the only Russian we've got here is, they got all these fake movies about women in the Navy SEALs and all this, and then the real women that have actually done that kind of stuff, no one even knows who they are. And she doesn't want to be public. But I'm telling you, they're going to take that bite next. So we should probably just get all that out up front right now. Plus, everything she did was so classified, but you can imagine the book this lady could write. Over 100 combat jumps, the whole 9 yards, all the years in the Army, all the things she did. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? But that's it. That's the only Russian around here. That's it. That's the Russian connection. Period. A lady you could write a book about, serving this country in the military for many years. That's what you got? The real traitors are people like these globalists, like Halper and everybody, trying to infiltrate the Trump campaign, trying to get people to talk about Russian connections and asking them, do you know about Russians? Do you know about Russian infiltration? And they're like, no, no, no. Just so later the FBI could say to all these people, have you ever talked about Russians, period, with anybody? And they're like, no, we hadn't. And then what happens? They indict him for lying to the FBI. We got Roger Stone coming up in the next 2 seconds. We're going to get an announcement by him. We're going to get Ted Malloch to pop on with his take on this. He's been grabbed and questioned by the FBI, had his electronics taken. And then we're going to move forward, and Roger's going to host the majority of the second hour today. So this is all coming up, ladies and gentlemen. But this is an attempt to overthrow the election of Trump and your will and your vote telling you you're an idiot, you're a rube, you voted for a Russian-backed candidate when there's zero, not one scintilla of truth to any of that. And that's what they're doing. Roger Stone has been making the rounds on the big Sunday morning news shows because the word is he's going to be indicted very, very soon. That's the NBC News headline at the top of drudgereport.com right now. And he says he's ready for the phony indictment, ready to fight it. Now, I learned Saturday morning that on Friday, 6 people had been grabbed up by the FBI. In some cases, literally physically grabbed, taken in and interrogated for a full day or longer. Then we learned it was 8 today. Roger has a lot of information that he is ready to break down here on air because this is an attempt to overturn the duly elected president of the United States. We'll get Ted Malloch pop in about the FBI scooping him up as well and how that ties in to what's happening with Professor Stefan Halper, who last Sunday Roger Stone exclusively outed here. But when the New York Times broke it on Friday, 5 days later, zero credit. All they do is say we're fake news because they can't stand the fact that we continue to break all the major news. Now, since I mentioned this earlier, let me get to this and then to Roger. Judge Jeanine Pirro is on fire as usual. She reportedly has been meeting with the president saying, you must go after Sessions. You're the president. It's dereliction of duty. Rosenstein set up his own little special office, tricked you into signing it. You can unsign that, sir.
Hey guys, Sunspan here with a list of our favorite TI-8 collector's cash sets. There are so many amazing sets this year. Be sure to check them all out and vote for your favorites in the workshop itself. Since the list is ridiculously long, I'm just going to introduce each set with the creator credits and then move on to the next. The Abyss Balrog set for Doom, created by FreeHardX and YZ. The Third Awakening set for Dragon Knight, created by Sile and Dead Guy. The Digger Wasp Copter set for Gyrocopter, created by DNA Dota, Kalian, Zyphod, and Pero. The Under Tyrant set for Magnets, created by Style D and coming for you. The Ranger Roller set for Pangolier, created by Level 7 and Yestar. The Heart of Volcanoes set for Phoenix, created by Nobiru, Chameleon, Dr. Robo, and Kilmenzo. The Rat King set for Chen, created by Solmir, It's Good For You, and Pernache. The Curse of the Rift Shadow Robber set for Ricky, created by Bronto Thunder. The Infernal Arsenal set for Shadowking, created by Godzi and Ike. The Dungeons and Detonator set for techies, created by Blade of Avila, Team White Rend, Hoff Hoff, and Fudgy Wudgy. The Stone Beast Armor set for Wraith King, created by Natio. The Crystal Bear Hunter set for Tide Hunter, created by Sir Axe. The Abyss Worm set for Venomancer, created by Laughing Sky Pig. The Darkness Apostate set for Warlock, created by Graf, Little Ranger, Pashsim, and Nobiru. The Blood Crawler set for Weaver, created by Keen Hot Shine. The Spore Gardener set for Witch Doctor, created by Hunter, Hunter Gambit, Dr. Robo, Kraken, and Kilmenzo. The Subterranean Sapper Squad set for Techies, created by Katsiam Sak and Zaidarich. The Sir Molestache Iron Drill Courier, created by Hayes, Two Minds, and Zach. The Frigid Runes of the Rift Shadow set for AA. The Frigid, created by Hayes, Two Minds, Sapper Squad set for Techies, created by Katsiam Sak and Zaidarich. The Sir Molestache Iron Drill Courier, created by Hayes, Two Minds, and Zach. The Frigid Runes of the Rift Shadow set for AA, created by Anuxi and Stephors. The Stalagmite Crawler set for Venomancer, created by Nike, Dr. Robo, Growl, Arnash, and It's Good For You. The Relics of the Magma Tribe set for Batrider, created by Hunter and Hunter Gambit. The Abyss Pathfinder set for Chen, created by Chameleon, Dr. Robo, and Nobiru. The Ratmaster set for Chen, created by DNA Dota, Zyphod, Kalian, and Pero. The Rift Shadow King set for Batrider, created by Civ Happens and Abyss FX. And last but not least, the thing you've actually been listening to this whole time is the Rhythms of Rift Shadow Ruins music pack, created by Pumodi. Great job to all the artists this year, and if you guys like any of the sets, please make sure to vote for it on the workshop. Until next time, this is Sunspan signing out.